The crystalline spires of the Galactic Concordance Tower pierced the violet sky of Nexus Prime, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 distant suns. Within the diplomatic hall on the 847th floor, Ambassador Vexilor of the Kryn Empire stood before a hovering communication array, his 4 eyes narrowing in frustration. "This primitive translation matrix is useless," he muttered in his native tongue, his mandibles clicking with irritation. Before him floated a holographic display showing 17 different alien scripts, none of which his advanced neural implants could decipher. The message had arrived 3 cycles ago from the Void Dwellers, a species so ancient and reclusive that their language predated the Concordance itself by millennia. The fate of the treaty, and perhaps the entire sector, hung on understanding these symbols. Ferret stood in the corner of the chamber, his hands clasped behind his back, his posture perfect. As the ambassador's human servant, he had learned to be invisible, a shadow that cleaned, served, and never spoke unless spoken to. Humans were a recent addition to the Concordance, a species discovered barely 50 standard years ago. Considered primitive, their planet classified as a developing world. They serve the great civilizations now, grateful for the opportunity to learn from their betters. "Fetch me the Zelonian cryptographers," Vexilor commanded without looking at Ferret. "Immediately, at once." "Your Excellency." Ferret bowed and moved toward the exit, his worn shoes barely making a sound on the polished floor. That's when the small voice spoke. "Those symbols mean we come in peace, but our patience grows thin." Vexilor's massive head swiveled, all 4 eyes fixing on the source of the interruption. There, partially hidden behind a decorative column, stood a human child. She couldn't have been more than 8 standard years old, with dark eyes and darker hair pulled into a simple braid. She wore a plain gray dress, the uniform of servant families, and clutched a datapad to her chest. "Maya." Ferret's voice cracked with horror. "Return to our quarters this instant." But the girl didn't move. Her eyes remained fixed on the holographic display, her small brow furrowed in concentration. "The 3rd line says, 'We seek the keeper of lost songs,'" she continued, her voice gaining confidence. "And the bottom says they'll wait at the Singing Nebula for exactly 1 lunar cycle before they consider the treaty void." The ambassador's translator implant buzzed frantically, but he held up one clawed hand to silence it. "How does a human child claim to read Void Dweller script?" Maya finally looked at the towering alien, showing no fear. "My father brings me here sometimes when he works late. I sit in the back and watch. I've seen lots of languages on the displays." She gestured to her datapad. "I started collecting them, writing them down. Humans are good at patterns," my teacher said. "At finding connections." "Maya, please," Ferret whispered urgently, moving toward his daughter. "We must not disturb. Wait." Vexilor's voice cut through the air like a blade. He manipulated the holographic controls, bringing up another document, this one a fragment recovered from an ancient Void Dweller beacon. "Can you read this?" The girl stepped closer, her fear forgotten in the presence of the puzzle. Her eyes scanned the alien glyphs, her lips moving silently. It's a poem, I think, about stars dying and being reborn, about memory living in the spaces between light." She looked up at the ambassador. "It's beautiful." For a long moment the chamber was silent except for the ambient hum of the tower's systems. Vexilor's mandibles twitched, a sign of deep thought among his kind. "Your name, child?" "Maya, Your Excellency." "Daughter of Ferret." She executed a clumsy but earnest bow. "Maya, daughter of Ferret," the ambassador repeated slowly. "Do you understand what you've just accomplished? The Concordance's finest linguists, equipped with neural networks spanning 10,000 worlds, have been attempting to decode Void Dweller script for 3 cycles. You did it in moments." Ferret finally found his voice. "Your Excellency, please forgive my daughter's impudence. She meant no disrespect. She's just a child who doesn't understand proper protocol. She understands languages no one else can." Vexilor interrupted. "Tell me, Ferret, what education has your species provided this child?" "She attends the servant school, Excellency. Basic literacy, mathematics, etiquette, basic literacy." The ambassador's tone was unreadable. He turned back to Maya. "How many languages can you recognize, child?" Maya glanced at her father, who gave her a helpless nod. 47, sir. But I can only really understand pieces of most of them. I like finding the similarities. Like how Kryn and Zelonian both have the same symbol for home, just rotated. Or how human English and Terran Mandarin share root concepts, even though they look completely different. Vexilor's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of profound surprise among his people. "You taught yourself this? With what resources?" "The public database and the servant quarters." and observation and ... She hesitated. Sometimes I listen to the diplomatic channels when father works late. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm quiet, and the patterns are so interesting. The ambassador turned to the communication array and input a series of commands. A new hologram appeared, the official seal of the Galactic Concordance, surrounded by flowing script. Translate this. Maya studied it carefully. It's a legal document, an amendment to the sentience evaluation protocols. Her eyes widened. It's about reassessing species classifications, based on demonstrated cognitive capabilities rather than technological development. Drafted 2 hours ago, Dexalor said quietly. By me, inspired by a conversation with a human xenolinguist who argued that your species has been fundamentally misunderstood. He looked at Ferret, then back at Maya. That xenolinguist spent 30 years studying among the concordants to earn the right to make that argument. Your daughter did the same in her spare time, in secret, with no formal training. Ferret's throat felt dry. Your Excellency, I don't understand. The Void Dwellers don't seek the most advanced species, Ferret. They seek the most adaptable, the most curious, the ones who can bridge gaps others cannot see. Vexilorus' voice carried a weight Ferret had never heard before. For 50 years, we've treated humanity as children playing with tools they don't understand. Perhaps we were wrong. He bent down, bringing his massive frame closer to Maya's level. Would you help me translate the complete Void Dweller message, young one? Not as a servant, but as a colleague. Maya's eyes shone. Really, really. And afterward, if your father permits, I would like to recommend you for enrollment in the Concordance Academy of Zen. Full scholarship, full citizenship rights. He looked up at Ferret. For both of you. Ferret felt tears stinging his eyes. In his daughter's simple curiosity, her pattern-seeking human mind, she had done what he'd thought impossible. She'd shown them that humanity belonged not in the shadows, but in the light. Thank you, Your Excellency, he whispered. But Maya was already at the console, her small fingers dancing across the controls, lost in the beauty of alien words waiting to be understood. And in that moment, the whole galaxy shifted, just a little, to make room for one small girl who dared to answer when others couldn't even hear the question. The humans had arrived.